Today's topic is cash versus credit. Which is better? Cash versus credit. You can reach out to me again at charles@businessdata123.com. Our website is businessdata123.com. And also, for more information, you can go to businessdata123.com. Now, when I say cash versus credit, I'm talking specifically in regards to building lines of credit, which is better. And I'm really passionate about this topic because I've seen so many business owners go sideways. And I said to myself, man, why would you do that? If you're married in a relationship, if your grandma gave you a bunch of money, would you take all your money and stick it into a business? Hopefully you wouldn't, but a lot of people do that. And I'm here to say I'm not one of those people. I don't believe in that. I believe that once cash comes in the corporation, you put that aside and you say, okay, we'll use that as a reference point. But once cash comes in, it does not leave. It stays there. I'll use someone else's money in order to go to the corporation, because once that cash is there and that cash is gone, that cash is gone. And guess what? No one's going to deal with you. No one's going to talk to you. People are going to laugh at you. They're going to say mean things to you. They're going to say, man, look, you took $250,000. You did what? In fact, there was an actress. Oh, man, it was horrible. She got she's a model actress. Her husband's very, very wealthy, and it was in the news. And I laugh about this because I said, oh, man, but I understand people just don't know. She took $15 million, which was her whole divorce, her divorce settlement, stuck it into a business, and the business went under. So guess what? She don't have $15 million no more. You can Google this about $15 million. Oh, it was horrible. Horrible. So now she has to scramble because she thought she can live a little leisurely after her divorce. But now she can't because the money's gone. And she can't go back to her ex-husband because her ex-husband will start laughing at her. You say, you did what? Oh my goodness. And why would he give her any more money? I gave you $15 million. $15 million cash. And you did what? So anyway, I want to emphasize cash versus credit. I prefer credit, and here's the reason why. Let's say that I have a great idea. Let's call it Acme Widgets, ACME Widgets. And Acme Widgets, I say, hey man, there's a potential for this. I can sell 100,000 units in the first year. I've done market research. I've talked to people, even sold a few samples, and it looks like a go. I went to the big retail show. Signed up a bunch of retailers that says, Charles, as soon as you have it, we're going to put it in our stores and we know it's going to sell. If it doesn't sell, we're going to buy it ourselves. I said, great, I have a winner of a product. And then I find out that it's going to cost me $250,000 to do everything I need to do, some marketing, samples, everything else. Am I going to take my own money and stick it into it? Or am I going to get bank lines of credit for that and stick it? Let me ask you, what would you do? Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Oh, wait. What would you do? What I would do is that I would form the corporation, become bank compliant. Below is a free PDF, become bank compliant. Take the $250,000, stick it into a trust account. The reason I say trust account is so that when things go sideways, nobody can snatch it. It has to go through a court challenge in order to try to snatch that money. Okay? It costs a lot of money to try to snatch that money because in the trust account you can't touch it. So my $250,000 goes into a trust account. I form the corporation, do everything else to become bank compliant, like I said below. Then I take the part of the money, or maybe the whole money. I can go to a bank, HSBC, Citibank, Chase, JP Morgan Chase. I said, hey, I want to get a credit line of, let's say, $200,000, 5-year interest only. They say, okay, we'll look at the corporation. Well, you're kind of deficient. You just started it a couple months ago. I say, yeah, I know. But I have this $250,000 over here. I want to use a reference point. They're going to look at that and say, oh, yeah, you do. Oh, yeah, they verified and everything else you do. Well, sir, yes, we can. We'll give you, you can't do a 5-year. We'll do a 3-year at, let's say, 6%. Interest only, I'll pull down as a line of credit. And you say, great, I'll take it. Therefore, I can take that money now and maybe throw in a Visa, MasterCard, secure Visa, MasterCard on top of it. That's not an issue. Here's another $25,000 Visa, MasterCard. So now you got $200,000 as a business line of credit. You got $25,000 a credit card. Now I can go through and do those other things I said, get the samples and everything else. And let's say everything goes sideways. The market rejects the product. And I'm like, oh, I thought, okay, now I got to pay the money back. But guess what? I got $250,000 in my trust account. So even now, if I go through legal proceedings, I can say, you know something? I'm going to pay your money back, but I'm just going to pay it back a little slower than I want. The market changed, things happen. They can't snatch my money, but I'm paying the money back, slowly as it goes. And guess what? If I'm married, have a significant other, my wife, my parents, whatever, let's say what happened to $250,000? Oh, it's in the bank. Oh, well, I heard the business went under. No, I really didn't go under. The market trend changed. I got to pay the money back, but it's going to take a little bit more time than I wanted, but I'm going to pay the money back, and then we're going to go from there. Now, let's versus that. Versus, I use the word versus. Let's take that now, that $250,000, and let's say you stuck at everything. You say, oh, I'm smarter than the average bear. I'm going to take all the $250,000 and I'm going to stick it to this company because this company is a winner. You take the $250,000, you stick it to the company, and everything, you buy everything else, and the market rejects it. And guess what? Everybody's looking at you like you're Boo Boo the Fool. What happened to the $250,000? I thought you had a great idea. Your wife is looking at you dumb. Your kids are looking at you dumb. All your friends are looking at you dumb. Your parents are looking at you dumb because you lost $250,000. And you didn't have to lose the $250,000, but because of your ego, you wanted to take all the money because you had such a great business idea. Man, I learned all this because I had a customer years ago. I worked for this big telecom company, one of the biggest in the United States. And in our industry, we were the biggest. And I wouldn't talk to this customer. This guy's an engineer. This guy had all kinds of degrees, really smart guy. And one of my customers wanted me to meet him because they knew I like business and that kind of thing. And so the guy showed me his invention that he had, and it worked pretty well. In fact, it was on the store shelves, at the particular shelf. But here was the issue. Nobody wanted to buy it. So it sat there. He went and got $250,000 from his friends, his wife's parents, and some other people, put into this idea and product because he was smarter than the average bear, had all degrees, was an engineer and everything else, and it failed. So now he was crestfallen because in his particular culture, he has to save face and he has to pay back all $250,000. That means he has to go back to work and pay $250,000 back in after-tax dollars, which means that he has to earn at least about $500,000 to pay back the $250,000 based on everything else being equal. So he's going to be back at work for the next 4, 5, 6 years. Yeah. Yeah. And I was like, whoa, wow. So I learned as a lesson. So you're asking me the question, cash versus credit. Credit is always the king. Cash goes into the bank. You know what? You never touch it. You never take it out. In fact, there's a real big guru right now that I know, and you know him also, and I'm not going to say his name, but he just lives off bank lines of credit. He doesn't touch any of his own cash because he's worth about, let's say, for the sake of this video, he's worth more than $15 billion. He is worth a lot more than that now. And I was reading over the information. Guess how I got the information? What he did, he went to his bank and said, look, I want a long-term bank line of credit. I'm worth $15 billion, but I only want $1 billion line of credit. This is for like personal, everything else. They looked at it and said, oh yeah, we'll give you $1 billion line of credit. So they lined up a bunch of banks, $1 billion line of credit, and he only pays the interest on what he borrows from the line of credit. And because he was spending so much money, he had advisors telling him, you're spending too much. You got to pay this line. But he didn't care because his corporation, his net worth was continuing to grow. And from what I saw, he still had $2-3 billion in lines of credit. But guess what? His net worth went from $15 billion to now he's close to between $40 and $60 billion. So that $3 billion that he used for a number of years that he lived on, it's nothing to him. And he didn't use his own cash. Because he doesn't use his own cash. He uses the other people's money. He uses the bank's money. He just pays them back through, they have different incomes and strategies and everything else to pay back, but he doesn't live off his own money. He lives off the bank's money. Because today's dollars are worth more than future dollars. He knows that's one of the principles, today's dollars. So why not use their money? If things go sideways, guess what? I'm not suffering. The bank is going to suffer because they loan me lines of credit. Too bad. We're going to settle in court. Well, it's a drawn court process. You're not going to take my stocks. I'm sorry about that. They're in a trust. You can't just snatch them. We have to go through a long, and more likely in his strategy, he's thinking, we're just going to settle anyway. So I'm going to take $1 billion. Okay, yeah, whatever. We'll settle for $500 million on that $1 billion line of credit. That's how big business works. So in answer to your question, it's really a question, but I'm telling you as a business owner, credit is always better than cash. Credit is always better than cash. The cash should go into an account. You never touch it. Your cash should be invested. Your cash should sit for your kids, for your wife, for whatever that future thing may be for your parents. That's what that cash is for. Cash is for extreme emergencies. But until we have an extreme emergency, you're not touching anything else. But you say, Charles, I want to pay things off. Yeah, you can pay things off. I'm not saying don't pay things off. Pay your house off. But have it in such a way that no one can touch it. Pay the apartments off that you have. Get a line of apartments so you can have that income stream for you later on in life. But have it in a trust so no one can touch it. Pay your cars off. Or just live below your means. Pay them off. But that cash, no one's going to touch. So everything else for the corporation is credit, goes under a different EIN number, doesn't go on my social security number, goes over an EIN number, just in case that corporation goes under, goes sideways, they can't come and take everything that you have. And for more the advanced students, we haven't even talked about insurance policies. Because what wealthy people do, they set up insurance policies just in case I can't pay my credit lines back. In fact, I know some major, that's what they do. They hedge it with insurance policies, and there's other things they can hedge with. Because if I can't pay this $250 million back, or it's $500 million, or whatever the money might be, it doesn't come out of my pocket, it comes out of the insurance company's pocket. That's why I pay the premiums. But guess what I pay the premiums out of? I pay the premiums out of the credit lines the bank has given me. So anyway, you want more information about this? I got a lot more information. I could talk to you strategy, everything else. Charles at businessdata123.com, info at businessdata123.com. Our website is businessdata123.com. The name of our company is called Business Data Consulting. Check us out. We have a lot of videos here online, about 50 or 60, 70 videos. And I'm able to help you, the business owner, get lines of credit and business lines of credit for your company. So there's a lot of information you don't have that I have that I'm able to help you. We do one-on-one consulting. We're kind of expensive. We do one-on-one consulting. We do group consulting. And we do webinars also. Check us out and look forward to talking to you again real soon.